Hey, welcome back. This is Terry Danilak, Lean Transformation Coach. I've helped SMBs, startups, and Fortune 500 companies deliver products faster and become more efficient and save millions of dollars. Today, I want to talk to you about the OODA loop. In sports, there's a well-known adage or saying that speed kills. That means that if you're faster and more nimble than your opponent, you'll be able to make decisions faster, and then you will win. Same thing applies in business, in life. Speed allows you to making decisions allows you to win in the game of life. And one of the most useful and most used frameworks for making decisions faster is called the OODA loop, OODA loop. It was first developed by Air Force, United States Air Force Colonel John Boyd. He was a really good fighter pilot in his time, flying many missions, and he's trained thousands of pilots since then. He was known for his ability in dogfighting, and there's stories of him finishing a dogfight in under 40 seconds, which is unheard of. In dogfighting, pilots have to make decisions very quickly. There's hundreds of decisions that you need to make. The planes are flying at really big speed. The enemy is approaching for you from behind, so you need to kind of make decisions which way to turn and all of that. And paying attention to you and all the instruments and your adversary takes a lot of mind work. So making decisions becomes very difficult. Your mind is just racing, doing all sorts of different things. Boyd was known to make those decisions very quickly. And as he retired from flying and he was just teaching, he came up with this OODA loop. This is a 4-step framework that helped him beat out other pilots in the dogfights, and so far has been used in the business world to make decisions faster. And the OODA loop goes like this. It has 4 steps. It's observe, orient, decide, and act. Observe is step 1. So step 1 is to observe the situation. So understand what's happening, build an accurate picture of the environment, the context, and the problem that you're facing. So you ask questions like, what's immediately affecting the situation? What could affect the situation later on? You're making these assessments. Can I make any predictions about what's going to happen? So this stage is about gathering information that you're in and kind of understanding what it's all about. Orient is the second step, and it's about understanding what are the challenges, the barriers that are going to prevent you from making your decision or could affect your decision. The orient part, like when we think about making decisions, observe is almost always the first step. You kind of observe, you look around. But the orient part, the part where you need to understand what could affect your decision, any external forces, internal forces, that part is often skipped. In this part, in this step, one of the most useful questions you can ask is what biases could be affecting my decision. So that's the orientation. What obstacles am I going to face? What are the future problems that might stop me from succeeding in what I'm trying to do? In the business world, when you're dealing with a different company from a different country, cultural norms could play into your decisions. So you need to think about those. So that's the orientation part. So the orientation part is about connecting yourself to objective reality of your situation. The third step is decide. And decide is very simple. Once you've observed the problem, oriented yourself, understood anything that could be affecting your decisions, just make a decision, right? Boom. And the last one, number four is act. And then you make a decision to act. So you made a decision and then you execute on it immediately, taking actions. Maybe you will test the decisions depending on the decision, what the decision is. And then you proceed with actual doing the work, whatever it is. So in this step, you make a decision a reality. And then you kind of repeat that over and over. That's why it's called a loop, OODA loop. You observe, orient, decide, act, and then you keep going. And when you're flying, I'm not a pilot, but I'm assuming if you're flying, it's like driving. When you're driving around, you observe, you orient, you look at all the different issues that are coming in. Maybe there's a car coming in, whatever it is. Understand your environment. You make a decision. Am I turning left, right, staying in the same lane, and you act on it. So the same thing for flying, same thing for business. In certain situations, the speed is quicker. In business situations, it may be a little bit slower, but you still want to be faster than your opponent. When is it useful? One example could be in let's say you need a meeting, right? You're doing a presentation. You're talking about some important topic, and the OODA loop can come in where you need to decide whether the direction that you're taking the presentation in is working. So you might observe your colleagues, see how they're reacting to your presentation, to your message. If maybe they're sleepy, maybe they're tired, then you need to orient yourself. Figure out what kind of biases might play into your thinking, your analysis of the situation, why they're tired. Maybe it's been a long day, maybe it's the end of the day, so they're normally naturally tired, so maybe they're not responding to your messages as much as you'd like to. Maybe it's hot in the room, so maybe they're a little bit, groggy because of that. So based on these orientating questions, you can make a decision about whether to continue your presentation at your current pace. Maybe you want to speed it up. Maybe you want to go back, depending on what happened, and kind of explain the topic a little bit more clearly. Maybe they didn't understand whatever you've decided in the observe and the orient stage, and then made the decision about it. You have to go and act on it. So OODA loop is useful in the business setting. When you're stuck in traffic, that's another good example is when you're stuck in traffic. So you observe that all of a sudden the cars are slowing down, right? So traffic is not moving. The traffic reports on the radio talking about, that there's an accident up ahead. So you orient yourself by assessing the situation, see, well, is this normal right now? Does this happen all the time? Is this something new? If it's something new, that means that it's not a normal traffic, so you might not be moving in a few minutes. Maybe something happened up ahead, so you make a decision to take the next exit before you get stuck on the freeway, on the highway, not moving properly. One more example, I would say, say you're walking on the street, and this is more about paying attention when being safe and secure. You look at an approaching man, and then you notice there's something off. So you observe that there's a behavior that does not match everybody else's on the street. Then you orient yourself. Well, am I being paranoid, and what are my biases? Am I thinking about this thing a little bit differently? So you make sure that whatever you observe is actually matching the reality. Then if it is, the man seems to be off, and you don't want to, you might come into a confrontation because you're coming close to one another, and whatever it is, you make a decision like, what, I'm gonna switch over and walk on the other side of the street, and then you act immediately. So there's your OODA loop in the process. OODA loop is one of those most useful frameworks for pretty much anything you do in life, whether it's business, making business decisions, or on the street as making a decision to walk on a different side of the street to avoid confrontation. And with practice, it becomes really effective. But the one thing that I would want to leave you with is the orient part. Always, after you've observed, before you make a decision, orient yourself to make sure that you are making the right decision, that you've taken all the things that you thought about into account, all your biases, all of the questions, all the upcoming challenges, things like that. Think about them quickly, and then make the decision based on those. And that will make your decisions more accurate, and you'll be able to execute them faster, and you'll be able to win in life. All right, till next time, cheers.